right, everybody. Kamish here, coming to you in week 4 of our 2024 fantasy football season. We are officially almost 1/3 of the way through this season. Some of us are starting to dig some holes that might take the full remaining 8 weeks to get out of, if that. But before we get too deep in those holes,
that's what she said.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from week 3. Last week we had 3 tiers to the standings, and this week we've split into 4. I didn't have enough time to look up all the video clips I wanted to this week, but I figured we'd focus on the top and the bottom of the standings. Noah is off to a hot start this year and just firing on all cylinders, and more on that later. But I gotta imagine he's feeling like this.
I'm the king of the world!
Meanwhile, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Scott's in a position that he has never been in before. I gotta imagine he's got multiple voices in his head just going crazy.
We're not fucked. We are totally fucked. And not just fucked. Like elephant dick, pounding the ass, no reach around.
Scott's team has definitely seen better days. And speaking of better days, Drew's team, better known as
Mickey Mouse Organization,
has also seen better days as Drew put up the lowest amount of points in week 3 and got to drown his sorrows with a Mickey Mouse shot glass.
Shake it off. Get back out there.
One person that doesn't need to shake it off and get back out there is Noah, as like I said, he is firing on all cylinders and put up 193 points in week 3 to take home the high score and $10.
Show me the money.
Noah was on such a roll this week that not only did he take home $10 in the high score, he also thought he would take home week 3's Bench Boner Award. If you haven't spotted it by now, this big goose egg left by Ramondre Stevenson left a lot to be desired from his bench. Not that he needed them, but another 30 points off the bench from Chuba Hubbard would have been enough to net Noah the 19th highest score of all time. But unfortunately, this week, all it nets you is a coveted Bench Boner Award.
Ask me about my winner!
Week 3 was a doozy, so let's move on to week 4 and see if it can follow the hype. First up in week 4 is Brian versus Mitch, and Mitch carried a 3-game winning streak into this matchup. It's going to end there as this one is absolutely over, barring an absolute miracle from the Dolphins defense. Brian will take the overall series lead 10-9, but the most important thing in this matchup is, like I said at the start of the season, Brian was 2 wins away from win number 100 overall, and he's going to get it here. Congrats, Brian, on being the first to the mountaintop. Hopefully this is not what you needed to turn your season around.
I'll drink to that!
Next up is Drew versus Daniel in what I was going to call the second half of our century games, as a loss here for Drew would have been number 100 overall. We're going to have to wait another week, though, as he's going to pull off a win here against Daniel, as 2 against 1 wide receivers on Monday night normally would be a great matchup. Unfortunately, going into the game with a 30-point deficit isn't a recipe for a win for Daniel, and he'll have to wait until next week to try and get back in the win column. This series was tied 5-5 all time, and Drew will take the 1-game advantage here.
You win some, you lose some. But you live to fight another day.
Next up is Scott versus Ryan, and Scott holds the all-time lead in this series 13-6, and he's going to extend his 4-game winning streak over the commish to 5. In most cases, a 13-point deficit isn't insurmountable, but when Tony Pollard is your only hope, pretty much all optimism goes out the window.
All I can do right now is put on a brave face and go out there and be their leader.
It's over. We are screwed.
Kevin and Cody come into their week 4 matchup deadlocked at 6 wins apiece all time, and Kevin was looking to make it 3 in a row here. That's not going to happen as he goes into Monday night hoping that Miami not only can't pass the ball, but they also can't run the ball either. It looks like Cody might be hitting his stride early in the season, and he's going to take the overall series lead here.
Hey, Hangman, you look good. I am good, Rooster. I'm very good.
One thing to note about Cody before I blow his ego up too much, though, is he did spend $22 this week on the Red Rocket off the waiver wire, and even though he didn't play him, he could have used him, but yet still didn't need him. And last but not least, we have Randall taking on the only undefeated and hottest team in the league, Noah, in their 12th matchup all time. This is Noah's most played matchup, and he owns the overall series lead 7-4. It looks like Noah's going to make it 8 here, as Randall is going to have to hope the Detroit Lions' second string running back clubs the first stringer in the locker room for him to have a shot here, but until that happens, it looks like the freight train that is Noah isn't slowing down anytime soon.
No one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
That does it for this week's individual matchups. Brian pretty much has the high score wrapped up already this week, so not a whole lot of drama there. But we do have 4 teams that could be potentially taking a shot this week, so a lot to still sweat out as we look to Monday night. Look forward to seeing everybody on the waiver wire and back on the gridiron on Thursday. Until next time.